Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the car boot crafter, and coming on today with little brag books. Do you remember we all used to carry a little brag book in our handbag years ago? Well, I did one for a friend of mine just before the pandemic, and she loves it and had all the baby photos in, but now of course they're a little bit older and she's asked me to do her another one that she can put the older photos in. So you open it up and you've got, I put baby across there. I mean, the first one I did, I used some dies which were a lot smaller, but luckily now that I've got my We Are Memory Keepers mini alphabet punch board, I can use that, and I've got much more big and chunky letters on there. So you just open it out and then you've got little pockets that you can, and I put these little tags in, but you can put anything else you like in. You can put extra photo mats in there and what have you. But I know that my friend who I gave the brag book to, she's got a photo on here and then uses in here to do some journaling, so at the time the baby was born, the weight, length, stuff like that, and then some first memories when they lost their first no, when they cut their first tooth and things like that. So you've got space for 4 photos there, and photo mats in there if you want. Then if you didn't put baby on, you've got another 4 there, and then you've got another 1, 2 as you roll it up, and then you've got a little belly band that just holds it all together, or you could swap that in for a magnet, entirely up to you. So shall we get on with it and I'll show you what we do. So you start off with your base card as a piece of A4. Now, because obviously it's a little girl, so I'm using the pink. So, and I'll put all your measurements and everything in the description box below so you can follow along. But you're going to score at, now these are all in centimetres, just because the maths, I remember when I first did it, the maths was so much easier in centimetres, and I couldn't get my head around inches and stuff. So 6 centimetres, 6.5 centimetres. Then you're going to zip up to 12.5 centimetres and 13. And again at 19, let's find 19 and 19.5. Okay. Now, before you do anything else, now I've got my adorable scoreable, so I use it this way. But what you're going to do is you're going to move this. So at the moment, it's butted up to this side here. But I'm going to just lift it over ever so slightly, butt it back up to the top. And I do use that edge there as a guide. So it's about 1/8 of an inch, I reckon. So I'm going to use that to measure as a guide for there. But I've moved it across this way about 1/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do my next one at 25.5, like that. I'm going to pop it back and I'm going to do the next one at 26.5. So that's, move it across about 1/8 of an inch. I know I'm getting my inches and my centimetres all mixed up, but it's a tiny little fraction there. Move that across, score at 25.5, move it back and score at 26.5. That way you haven't quite got a full centimetre there, but it also gives you a little bit more room here in this box, because when you need to wrap it around your whole book. So once you've done that, you're going to turn it around, doesn't matter which side, which edge, as long as it's the short edge, and you're going to score again at 7, like that, and at 14, like that, and make sure that this is 21, which it is for UK. While we're there, grab a pencil, and so at the moment you've got boxes that are, these ones are 6 by 7 centimetres, so 6 by 6 across, 7 deep. Then you've got the gussets, the thin bits, the 0.5 centimetres. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and then at this end you've got a much smaller box. Let me bring my template in and I can show you what I mean. Luckily enough, I have a template that I keep. So you've got all your 6 by 7 centimetres, you've got your slightly wider gusset here, and then you've got these thinner boxes at this end. So what you want to do, make sure that end is butted up like that. So that end is at that end. And you're going to put a little mark at 10.5. That's our halfway mark there. 10.5 and 10.5 is 21, and our paper measures 21. Okay, so you've got that little mark there, and that gives you this visual aid in a minute to cut the this bit here that wraps around. Of course, you don't have to. If you want to keep it square, you can do that too. So once you've done that, I'll bring my template back in. So I've got my paper and all my score lines like this. So what you want to do is, you've got these gussets here. So you're going to cut those away, all 6 of them. So you've got 1, 2, 3 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on that side. We're keeping these 3 in the middle. Going to work on this top bit first. Oh, things are falling. So as you can see on here, you've got that score line, which was your 26.5, and you've got this one, which was your 25.5. So what we want to do is we want to cut all of this away on both sides, including that first score line. Keep your middle bit. So I'm going to grab my scissors. So I've got my first, so this is the short end with my smaller boxes. So I've gone to the first score line, then to my second one, and I'm going to cut the second one away like that, and the same on this end. And I'm cutting away the whole of the score mark as well. And then I'm coming to this side, and so I'm coming from the edge, my short box. So first score line, second score line, cut up till you get to that 7 centimetre score line going that way. Turn it round and cut that away like that, and you end up with that shape at this end. Now, do you remember that notch we put in? Now, grab a ruler if you prefer. Actually, I'm going to grab a ruler. I'm going to show you because that's going to be easier. So we've still got 1, 2 score lines there. So I'm going to go from there to the first score line, and the same on this side, from that middle point, that centre point, to the first score line, like that. So I'm not travelling to that corner, I'm only travelling to there, and then I'm going to cut that away like that, and that side. So I've now got that shape at the end, and that's on my template there. So if I lay that down like that, you can see I've got my point there. Grab your corner rounder and corner round it if you want to, and don't forget to cut all those gussets away, which I've already done just because it was quicker than me sitting here cutting all of those pieces away. So as you can see, all of these gussets have been cut away there on either side, but I've left the ones in the middle, otherwise I've been cutting it in half. Then on this end, as you can see, I've cut away these 2 boxes and done my triangular shape at the top there like that. Okay, so I can put that to one side, and now we can start working on the next bit. So next bit, you'll need 2 pieces of scrap card. If it's nice thick scrap card, that's even better. So you'll need one that's 7 by 6 and one that's 6.5 by 5.5. I'm going to put that one to one side while I work on this one. So what you're going to do, this is 6 centimeters wide. So put a mark, a notch where your 3 is, and travel down a little bit and put another notch for another 3 centimeters, and then use your ruler and just line those up. So now we have a center line that is halfway on our template. Grab your ruler again and mark at 3 centimeters. So now you have that crossing, hopefully you can see. So there's my 3 centimeters down, and this is my 3 centimeters going through the middle. Grab your scissors and going from this point to there, to where those 2 lines intersect, you're going to just cut down. And on the same on the other side, so we create a V like that, and then we have a template. So I can throw that bit away. Bring in your smaller template, and what you're going to do is you're going to line it up like that, so that your template is sitting on top of the base template where you want it to be. So line up, if I bring it, line it up, and then I can bring it to the camera. So I've lined it up how, if this was a mat, how I would want it to be. So I've got this point on that line there. I bring it right up. So these points, these 2 corners on the red card, my smaller card, lines up onto that diagonal that I've just cut on both sides like that. So hold it tight, flip it over, get your pencil and do another V on that template and cut that out as well. And this then gives you your mat and your layer for your brag book. And I just find this easier than trying to measure them up every time, having a couple of templates to hand like that. So grabbing your largest template, line it up on your panels. Now the first one, the one that's this end, will be slightly wider because do you remember we took it to that side ever so slightly. So draw a line so you've got your V, and then we're going to cut those away. Then I take it over this side, but you can do it all along here if you want, but I prefer to do them opposite. So line it up so this end is on your, just above your score line, and again going in like that, bring those round like that, and again like that. Whoops. So I just find it far easier than trying to keep measuring and messing with it. It just makes life a little quicker, and I can keep that and use it as many times as I want. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut down on those. Like I said, I do mine diagonally, but you can do yours all on the same side if you want, or you can do it diagonally like I have. It's your brag book, so it's entirely up to you, isn't it? So I'm just giving you the base ideas. There, I'll do this one on the end first, and then I'll turn it round and go to the other one like that. Flip it over, and I'm going to do that one like that. So that's all done then, and then you're going to get your base card, the other one, so the smaller one, and you need 4 pieces of card like that measure 5.5 by 6.5, and you're going to use this to do the same on these. So rather than draw, I'm going to use my scissors straight onto it, but do use your pencil and your ruler first. Sorry, your pencil to make the marks if you prefer. And these then will go on there like that. I've corner rounded the bottom as well, just to give a little bit more interest. But you know, you don't have to. I've corner rounded a lot of things on this, but you don't have to corner round anything if you haven't got a corner rounder, or do it by eye if you prefer. So, and it just goes so much quicker. Even if I'd used my ruler, this is going to be so much use my template, sorry, this is going to be so much quicker than measuring and lining things up and doing each one at a time. And because you've got the templates, you know that they are all the same. So because we've used the templates on here and then used the second to measure it, we know that those are the same V's on there. So I hope I'm making sense. In my head, I'm not entirely sure whether I am, but I hope I am. So, and like that again, like I said, I'm doing this just for quickness, but use your pencils to line up your templates. So those are going to go on there like that. So let's take them off, and we're going to fold these in first. So I've got my pencil mark on that side, so I want these to fold in that way. So I'm going to fold it this way so that, I mean, I could take my ruler and I could no, not my ruler, my rubber, and I could rub all the pencil lines out, but I'm feeling a bit lazy, so I'm not going to bother. So the next stage is to then get your glue out and glue just a thin line of glue up each side of these like that. A thin line. You could use red liner tape, but I don't know if you find it, but I do find sometimes the red liner tape, if you're then putting tags in, catch. So I don't tend to use red liner tape when I'm making this kind of pocket. If it's a sort of stand-up 3D type pocket, you know, with a sort of box shape to it, then I probably would use something like a red liner. But again, you know me, I much prefer to use my wet glue anyway in all of my projects. So again, let's put a line of glue up there like that. Lay that down. Doesn't have to be loads either. Thin line is more than enough to hold these in place like that, especially with the wet glue. I shouldn't stand it up really, should I? I should lay it flat so that the glue's halfway to the nozzle already in between each one. So there we go, lay it flat. And again, do that. So next thing I'm going to do, and again this is entirely up to you, is I'm going to corner round those. Now that these flaps are out the way, it makes it much easier to do. I'm going to corner around all 4 of these. So these are the bits that flap over like that. Let's do these 2 as well. And I've also corner rounded all my mats so that they sit on here as well. So I think it just adds to it all. So I'm going to fold those over like that, and these as well. Now I can see I've cut that a little bit, so I can come back in and trim that. So sometimes you don't quite get into them, do you? So at this point, before you start decorating, you can get in there and just tidy that up a little bit. There, like that. There we go. So there we go. Now all we need to do now is decorate. So we've got these shapes, and what you could do if you wanted, you could even make that a double pocket. I'm not going to on this one, but you could do, if it works for you. There we go. Lay that down, and we've got a really nice mat there. And again, on my original one, I've done faux stitching, so I will do that on this one as well. But I do tend to do it once I've put it all together. So I can sit in the living room in front of the telly watching Corrie or EastEnders or whatever is on, and do it like that. So these do sit very almost flush to the crease mark there. So just be aware of that. You're not trying to get it right in the middle, as you might with a normal regular mat and layer. It will sit closer to the bottom, just to give you a little bit. You can bring it up a little bit, of course, it's entirely up to you, it's your taste, obviously. And the last one goes on there like that, and almost done. It's so quick and easy to make, and uses, I mean, you can use so much of your scraps on this. It really is, you know, and I mean, I'm doing it for a baby or child, so it's all pink and black, but you can use whatever you've got to hand. So this could be all multicolored, couldn't it? Right, so the next bit is, I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of card. Now these also measure 5.5 by 6.5, and these go on here. So you'll need 2 for each flap. So I'm going to be as quick as I can to get these on. So there's one. Let's do all the outside flaps first, like that. And then I've got my baby, my letters that I've done that will go on there. And again, it's entirely up to you whether you want to put letters on at all or not. I do, because it's obviously it's a brag book. I've put baby because she said she wanted baby. I could have put girl, couldn't I? That might have been a nice one to do for her. Maybe when her, because they're still quite young, the grandchildren, so maybe when they're a little bit older, I might put girl on the brag book if she wants another one. So there we go. So that's those. Then open them up, and again, entirely up to you. You don't have to, or you could use patterned if it's not, you know, for a particular event, you just want to make a brag book. You could use patterned paper, couldn't you? Instead of plain paper like I have on here. Patterned paper would be really nice, actually. I might do a patterned one. See how that turns out. So there's there, nearly done. and then I can show you how we do the closure. So there's 8 altogether on the flaps, 4 on each side. Oops, that went completely skewiff, didn't it? That wouldn't have been good at all. And then the next 2 go on the roll up bit. So I'll show you, I'll flip it over and show you which bits they go on. So again, I'm just going to use my bone folder to push all that in to the cards. So we've got all of those done. So I'm going to flip it over. So on this side, you've got the pointy end here. So these 2 go on there. So you've got, let me just show you. Let's do that. Some glue on there. So you've got your gusset there. So you're going to go to one side of your gusset with that one, and then to the other side of your gusset with this one, and there you go. Okay, so again, you just push down on there. And then your tags, so these are really simple to make. So you need 4 pieces that measure 8 by 5 centimetres. And what you're going to do is pop it in your scoreboard and score at 2 centimetres on all of them. I've already got 3 of them done. So that's scored at 2 centimetres. Before I fold it over, I'm going to bring in my corner rounder, round those corners off, and then I've got a piece that measures 1.5 centimetres by 4.5, and you just glue that on that bit that you've just corner rounded, and that is your that's the decoration done for that one. So simple to make those. And that just goes on there. That's been corner rounded already. That goes on there. Push the glue into the card, and then those just tuck into there like that. Hopefully that glue's dry now. So because they're flat, it's a little bit fiddly the first time. So let's try up here a bit first. So you just pop them in like that and push them down, and they fold over, giving you that sort of envelope look on there like that. And let's put my baby on first before I put the rest in. So these will go B, A, B and Y like that. So those will go on there, but because I know that I'm coming to the end of my video, I just want to show you how I did the closure. So this point, I haven't corner rounded it, so I'm just going to do that now. Fold that over like that, and you'll need a piece of card that measures 1.5 by 4.5 centimetres, and you're just going to glue that on there like that. So let's do that now, and I hope that I haven't run out of time on my videos. I need a stopwatch or a something. Oh, now I did wrong, didn't I? I went all the way down and I shouldn't have done. So that gets glued onto there. Don't go too high, and don't do like I did and glue the whole lot. You don't want to glue there, do you? So I will be very careful and try not to lay that down. You'll also need a piece. Now this measures 1 centimetre by 21 centimetres. You're not going to need the full 21. Once you've got that piece on, you're going to put it on your brag book and wrap it round like that. Then on the back, make sure it sort of joins up, and I'm going to cut some of that off. But I want it to overlap enough so that I can glue that down and it will hold. So let's put that there. I'm going to put the glue on here, this end, and put a little bit there where I did that cut, like that. Wrap it, and very carefully like that. I don't want the glue to come running out. So, and that's my belly band, so that I can take that off and open up my brag book. Oh, look, it's sprung open. Let's hold that back down like that. In fact, I'm going to get a little peg and hold it like that so that that glue's got time to dry. And I'm going to push that into there and give that time to dry. And I'm going to carry on decorating. I'm going to leave the camera running. I'm hoping that we haven't run out of time, but if we have, then hopefully you got to see everything you needed to. And like I said, all the measurements will be in the description box below, so do pop in there. Leave me a message if you're going to make a brag book, or if you remember making brag books all those years ago. It's such a shame, I think, that brag books have gone out of fashion, because I do enjoy making them, and I really enjoyed having them in my handbag and sharing them with family and friends. What do you think? Do you think brag books or mobile phones? So there's baby on there. Again, you don't have to put anything on here. You could leave those as another set of photo mats if you wanted. So that says baby, and I will go round with a white pen and put some stitch marks in. And in the meantime, I'm just going to pop these in, because this hopefully is dry now. There we go. First time it goes in is a little bit awkward, but after that they go in and out like a dream. Let's pop that one in there like that. There we go. That one's gone in beautifully, and the last one in here. There we go. All done and folded. So there you go, another brag book done, ready to go to a friend. Wrap that over. This should be dry now. Pop that on.